The black envelope arrives 3 months after Naomi pays a stranger's hospital bill. She's scrubbing toilets in the Gangnam office building when security escorts a man in a suit to her supply closet. He doesn't speak, just hands her the envelope and leaves. Inside, a key card, an address in Hanamdong, and a handwritten note in English. "You saved my life. Now let me save yours." Naomi's hands shake. She threw away her rent money that night, got evicted 2 weeks later. She's been sleeping in a PC bang, showering at the gym, eating convenience store rice balls. And now some stranger wants to give her an apartment in Seoul's most expensive neighborhood. She should throw it away. Instead, she goes to the address. 4 months earlier, the emergency room smells like disinfectant and panic. Naomi's not supposed to be here. Her shift cleaning the hospital's administrative wing ended an hour ago. But she heard the commotion, saw the nurses rushing, glimpsed the man on the gurney, blood soaking through his white shirt, his face pale as death, and the security guard blocking the registration desk. "No ID, no admission," the guard says in Korean. The man's barely conscious, but his eyes find Naomi's. Dark, intense, pleading. She doesn't think, just pulls out her wallet. "I'll pay," she says in broken Korean, then English. "Please, I'll pay." The nurse looks skeptical. "It's expensive." "Gunshot wound treatment, surgery, how much?" 5 million won minimum, maybe more. Naomi's stomach drops. That's her rent for 3 months. Her savings for flying home to Chicago when her visa expires. Everything she has. The man's still looking at her. Something in his gaze makes her think of her brother Marcus, bleeding out in an Atlanta street while people walked past. No one stopped. No one helped. He died alone. She slides her debit card across the desk. "Do it." They rush him to surgery. Naomi sits in the waiting room for 6 hours, watching her bank account drain through her phone. When the doctor finally emerges, he's speaking rapid Korean to a group of men in dark suits who appeared from nowhere. "He'll survive," the doctor says in English, glancing at Naomi. "You saved his life. May I ask, are you family?" "No, just." She doesn't know how to explain. Someone needed help. One of the suited men approaches. Young, handsome, wary. "Who are you?" "Nobody. I was here. He was dying, that's all." The man studies her with suspicious eyes. "You paid 5.2 million won for a stranger. Is that illegal?" "It's unusual." He pulls out a business card, writes a phone number on the back. "If you need anything, call this number. Our boss will want to thank you personally when he wakes." Naomi takes the card but doesn't call. She goes home to her tiny office in Itaewon, looks at her empty bank account and cries. Her landlord will evict her when the rent check bounces. She has maybe 2 weeks. Worth it, she tells herself. A life is worth more than an apartment. 2 weeks later, she's homeless. Her landlord changes the locks while she's at work. Naomi stands outside with her 2 suitcases and her cleaning uniform, wondering how she fell this far. She came to Seoul 3 years ago for a fresh start after Marcus died, after their mother's dementia ate through the family savings. She thought she could build something here. Instead, she's cleaning toilets and sleeping in internet cafes. The apartment in Hanamdong turns out to be a penthouse. The elevator opens directly into a space that looks like it belongs in a magazine. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Han River, marble floors, furniture that probably costs more than Naomi earned in her entire life. A housekeeper appears, bowing. "Miss Williams, we've been expecting you. Your room is ready." "I think there's been a mistake." "No mistake. Mr. Kang arranged everything. Please come in." Naomi's shown to a bedroom suite bigger than her old apartment. The closet is stocked with clothes in her exact size. The bathroom has products for black hair, expensive ones she's never been able to afford. On the nightstand, another note. "Stay as long as you need. You're safe here." She should leave. This is insane, but it's November in Seoul and she has nowhere else to go. That night she lies awake in the softest bed she's ever touched, wondering who she saved. The answer walks through the door at 2 a.m. Naomi's in the kitchen, couldn't sleep, making tea with trembling hands. She hears the elevator, then footsteps. Turns to see a man in a blood-stained suit jacket, moving like every breath hurts. The man from the hospital. He stops when he sees her. For a long moment they just stare at each other. "You're awake," he says in English, his accent crisp, refined. "I hope to clean up before you saw me like this. You're bleeding again. Professional instinct kicks in. Naomi spent 2 years as a home health aide before coming to Korea. Sit down. I'm fine. You're dripping on your expensive floor. Sit. Something flickers in his eyes, surprise, maybe amusement. He sits. Naomi finds the first aid kit under the kitchen sink. Of course, there's a first aid kit, kneels beside him and carefully peels back his jacket. The bandage underneath is soaked through. Hospital, she asks. Not an option tonight. Why not? His eyes meet hers. Because the people who shot me last time work there. His hands freeze on the bandage. What? You didn't recognize me in the ER. The darkness, the blood, I was just another emergency. Kang Min-jun winces as she presses gauze to his reopened wound. But if I'd gone through official channels, I'd be dead. They have people everywhere. Who's they? Rivals, enemies, take your pick. He studies her face. You still don't know who I am. Should I? Most people in Seoul would. Naomi tapes the fresh bandage, sits back on her heels. I'm not most people. I clean offices and mind my business. I don't follow Korean news. Clearly, something almost like respect crosses his features. I'm Kang Min-jun, I run. Let's call it a private security and import business. That's code for illegal. Very illegal. His lips quirk. I run the largest organized crime syndicate in Seoul. My family has controlled the underground for 3 generations. That night at the hospital, I was ambushed leaving a negotiation. 3 bullets should have died. Would have if you hadn't, his voice catches. Why did you do it? Naomi thinks of Marcus, the strangers who stepped over his body, because someone should. It cost you everything. How do you know that? Because I had you investigated. He says it matter-of-factly like it's normal. After I woke up, my men told me an American cleaning woman paid my hospital bills. I needed to know if you were a plant, an enemy operative, a threat. Instead, I found Naomi Williams, 29, from Chicago. Overstayed your teaching visa by a year, working under the table as a maid. Brother died 3 years ago, mother in a memory care facility back home. You send her half your paycheck every month. You got evicted because you spent your rent money saving my life. Naomi stands abruptly. What is this? Guilt, charity, debt. He rises too, moving carefully. In my world, debts are sacred. You saved my life. That means your life belongs to me now. That's not how it works. It's exactly how it works. He steps closer. You're homeless, undocumented, vulnerable. Do you know what happens to women in your position, the people who exploit them? You won't survive another month on the streets. I've survived worse. Not in Seoul, not in winter, not alone. His voice drops. Let me protect you. It's the only way I can repay what you did. I didn't do it for repayment. I know. Something raw flashes in his eyes. That's why it matters. They stand there, tension crackling between them. Finally, Naomi breaks eye contact. Fine, I'll stay until I find something else. But I'm not your responsibility. Too late. He's already walking toward his room. You became my responsibility the moment you chose me over your own survival. The next morning, Naomi wakes to voices in the living room. She emerges to find Min-jun in a business suit, looking nothing like the bleeding man from last night. With him, the young man from the hospital and an older woman in expensive clothes. Naomi. Min-jun's voice is formal. This is my head of security, Yi-sung, and my aunt Kang Mi-suk. The aunt looks Naomi up and down, distaste obvious. She says something sharp in Korean. English, aunt, Min-jun says coolly. Naomi is a guest in my home. I said she doesn't belong here. Mi-suk switches to accented English. You bring a foreign maid to your penthouse, people will talk. Let them. Min-jun, be reasonable. Your position requires, my position requires loyalty. She gave it when no one else would. This discussion is over. Mi-suk's face hardens. She leaves in a storm of expensive perfume and disapproval. Yi-sung lingers. Boss, she's not wrong. Park Jae-hoon already knows about the American woman. He's asking questions. Park can ask all he wants. He'll see her as leverage, as a weakness. Then he'll learn what happens when people threaten what's mine. Min-jun's voice could freeze blood. Increase security. I want eyes on her any time she leaves this building. I'm standing right here, Naomi says, and I don't need bodyguards. Min-jun looks at her. You don't understand the world you're in now. Park Jae-hoon runs the rival syndicate. He's been trying to eliminate me for 5 years. If he finds out you saved my life, he'll use you to get to me. So I'm a liability. No, you're someone I won't allow to be hurt because of me. He nods to Yi-sung, who leaves. Then to Naomi, I have meetings all day. Don't leave the building. There's food in the kitchen, anything you need. We'll talk tonight. He's gone before she can argue. Naomi spends the day exploring the penthouse, feeling like an intruder. The housekeeper, Mrs. Kim, speaks minimal English but is kind, showing her how everything works. By evening, Naomi's restless, anxious, ready to climb the walls. She goes out, just to the convenience store 2 blocks away. She needs air, needs normalcy, needs to prove she's not a prisoner. She makes it 1 block before the car pulls up. 3 men, not Min-juns, she can tell by their predatory smiles. The leader speaks English. Miss Williams, our boss would like a word. I'm not interested. It's not a request. Naomi runs. She's fast, but they're faster. They corner her in an alley and panic explodes in her chest. One grabs her arm, then he's on the ground and Min-jun is there. She didn't hear him arrive, didn't see him move. But suddenly he's between her and the men, and his presence fills the alley like a storm. He says something in Korean, low and vicious. The men back away. One tries to speak. Min-jun cuts him off with a single word that makes them go pale. They run. Min-jun turns to Naomi. His hands shake as he cups her face. Did they hurt you? No, I'm fine. How did you? Yi-sung called me the second you left the building. I broke 3 traffic laws getting here. His voice is rough. I told you not to leave. I'm not your prisoner. No, you're the woman who saved my life, which makes you more valuable to me than anything else in this city. His thumb brushes her cheek. If they'd taken you, if Park had gotten his hands on you, but he didn't, I'm fine. He doesn't let go, just stands there, breathing hard, looking at her like she's something precious and breakable. Finally, you can't do this again. Can't take risks like this. Do you understand what you mean to? He stops. What you represent, the debt I owe you. Is that all this is? Debt? Something dangerous flickers in his eyes. What else would it be? The air between them charges with possibility. Naomi should step back, should remember he's a criminal, a stranger, someone from a world completely alien to hers. Instead, she says, you tell me. Min-jun's hand drops from her face like she's burned him. This can't happen. His voice is rough. You saved my life. I owe you protection. That's where this ends. Feels like there's more. There can't be. He steps back and the walls slam up. I'll have Yi-sung escort you home. Don't leave again. But over the next 2 weeks, something shifts. Min-jun starts coming home earlier, sits with her during dinner, asking about her day, her life in Chicago, her dreams before Marcus died. He listens like her words matter, like she matters. And slowly, Naomi learns about him too, the weight of running an empire, the loneliness of being feared, the impossible choices that come with his world. I was supposed to be a prosecutor, he tells her one night over tea. Went to law school, top of my class. Then my father was killed. Someone had to take over and my uncle couldn't hold the territory, so I became this. Do you regret it? Every day, and never. He meets her eyes. This world is brutal, but it's also the only thing standing between chaos and order in Seoul's underworld. Without structure, without rules, innocent people suffer. I keep the peace. Violently when necessary, but I keep it. Naomi starts to understand. He's not a monster. He's a man trying to control something monstrous. She also starts to notice the small things. How he makes sure she eats. How he leaves books he thinks she'll like on the kitchen counter. The way his eyes follow her across a room. How his voice softens when he says her name. The moment everything changes comes on a rainy Tuesday. Naomi's in the living room when Min-jun comes home, blood on his knuckles. He moves like he's in pain but trying to hide it. She doesn't ask, just gets the first aid kit. You don't have to, he starts. Sit down. He sits. As she cleans his scraped knuckles, he watches her face. Why did you stay? What? You could have left weeks ago, found a new place, gone back to America. Why are you still here? Naomi's hand still on his. Maybe I'm tired of running, or maybe. She looks up, finds him inches away. Maybe I'm starting to understand why you needed me to stay. Naomi, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me this is just debt and obligation and I'll leave tonight. He doesn't speak. Just closes the distance and kisses her. It's soft, tentative, nothing like the dangerous man he shows the world. His hands frame her face gently, reverently, like she's something he's afraid to break. When they finally separate, his forehead rests against hers. This is a terrible idea. The worst, she agrees. I have enemies. You'll never be completely safe. I wasn't safe before, at least now I'm not alone. I'm not a good man. You're a man trying to do right in an impossible situation. That's enough. He kisses her again, and this time it feels like a promise. The next morning, everything falls apart. Naomi wakes to shouting, runs to the living room to find Min-jun surrounded by his men, everyone on phones, tension crackling like electricity. What's happening? Yi-sung answers. Park Jae-hoon made his move. He leaked photos to the press, you and the boss. Now everyone knows about the American woman. He's painting Min-jun as weak, distracted. Three allied families are reconsidering their partnerships. Because of me, because Park is smart. Min-jun's voice is ice. He knows I won't risk you, he's using that. His aunt bursts from the elevator. End this, send her away, save the organization. No, Min-jun, be reasonable, I said no. He turns to his men, call a meeting. All family heads, tonight. Boss, that's do it. That night the penthouse fills with dangerous men in expensive suits. Naomi's told to stay in her room, but she watches from the hallway as Min-jun addresses them. Park Jae-hoon thinks I'm weak, he says in English, then repeats in Korean. He thinks a woman makes me vulnerable. Let me clarify the situation. He nods to Yi-sung, who pulls up documents on a screen. Financial records, shipping manifests, evidence of Park's illegal operations. This goes to the prosecutor unless Park leaves Seoul within 24 hours, Min-jun continues. He touched what's mine, he doesn't get a warning. You'd start a war over a woman, someone asks. I'd end one. Min-jun's voice is absolute. Naomi Williams saved my life when she had no reason to. That makes her more valuable than any alliance, any partnership. Anyone who threatens her learns that I have no limits. The room goes silent. Then slowly the heads start nodding. It's not weakness they're seeing, it's ruthless devotion. A man who will burn everything down to protect what matters. By morning, Park has fled to Busan. The alliances hold, and Min-jun's reputation somehow grows stronger. You started a war for me, Naomi says when they're finally alone. I ended one. He pulls her close, and I'd do it again. I don't understand this world. You don't have to, you just have to trust that I'll keep you safe in it. What happens now? Now, he smiles, rare, genuine, devastating. Now you stop sleeping in the guest room. Now we figure out how to make this work. Now I prove that the woman who saved my life when she had nothing to gain is the woman I want beside me for everything that comes next. That's very romantic for a crime boss. I'm learning. He kisses her forehead. You make me want to be better than I am. You're already better than you think. 6 months later, Naomi runs a program helping undocumented workers in Seoul funded by Min-jun's legitimate businesses. She's learned Korean, navigated the complex world of syndicate politics, and become known as the woman who showed Kang Min-jun what loyalty really means. Her mother's care is fully covered. She's saved enough to visit Chicago whenever she wants, but she always comes back to Seoul, to the penthouse, to the man who taught her that sometimes salvation comes from the most unexpected places. Regret paying my hospital bill? Min-jun asks one evening, pulling her onto the couch beside him. Naomi thinks about that night, her empty bank account, the eviction notice, how terrified she'd been. Then she looks around at the home they've built, the life they're creating, the way he watches her like she's his whole world. Best money I ever spent, she says. He laughs and the sound fills the space between them. I've spent my life calculating debts, balancing books, keeping score, but with you, he takes her hand. There's no debt, there's just choosing each other every single day. Even when it's complicated, especially then. Outside, Seoul glitters with a million lives intersecting, diverging, colliding. Inside, they hold each other, two people who found home in an emergency room at 2 a.m., when one stranger decided another stranger's life mattered more than her own security. Naomi learned that sometimes you have to lose everything to find what you're really worth. Min-jun learned that being powerful means nothing if you can't protect what you love. And together, they learned that the most binding contracts aren't written in ink or blood. They're written in the thousand small ways you choose someone, over and over, until choosing them becomes as natural as breathing. That's their story. Not a fairy tale, but something better. A real life built on impossible odds, sustained by stubborn love. and proven every day in the way Minjun still looks at her like she hung the moon, and the way Naomi still sees the man beneath the reputation. The maid who paid a stranger's hospital bill, the mafia boss who spent the rest of his life repaying her, and the love neither of them saw coming, but both of them chose to keep.